The hardest part about being a life or health insurance agent isn't learning the products. It's getting enough clients to actually make money. Now, most agents don't even get to 200 grand a year, not because they don't want to, but because they don't have a system to reliably speak with people. I've mentored over 2,000 agents across the country, and I often see the same mistake. They rely on luck, referrals, or one good month instead of having a predictable client acquisition strategy they can repeat. In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how you can fix that. I'll show you 3 proven systems to get clients: cold outreach, organic content, and paid advertising. The same systems my team and I have used to build multiple 7-figure agencies. By the end, you'll know exactly which strategy is best suited for you and how you can finally build predictable income as an agent. If you're a new or struggling agent, you already know this career is not easy. That's the reason why most insurance agents quit within their first 12 months. And listen, your success is not really up to your upline or IMO or even your commission level. Even though those things do matter, they don't really make or break you. The most important factor really is going to be how many people can you speak with? How many conversations can you have? The more people you talk to, the more likely you are to get sales. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 3 strategies, the pros and cons for each one. That way you could choose and decide which one is best suited for you. Some of these strategies bring faster results than others, but it's always going to come down to one of 2 things. You either got time or you got money. All right, so let's start with the foundation, cold outreach. That includes knocking doors, cold emails, cold calling, or cold texting, basically talking to people that you don't know. These are old school methods that are proven to work, but there's one thing that I want you to do differently. Don't focus on getting in front of people that want to buy from you. Focus on getting in front of people that are going to open up the doors to multiple clients. That way you can be selling one to many. In insurance, that might be a tax office, a real estate office, or one of my personal favorites, a doctor's office. So let's use the doctor's office as an example and how that would work for you. If you sell health insurance, there are plenty of times where a patient walks into a clinic or a doctor's office and they either have no insurance or they have a plan that the doctor doesn't take. Typically what happens then is the front office or the front desk person will tell them to call an insurance carrier or to call a trusted agent that works with that office. So your goal needs to be to become that trusted agent. That way you can get referrals all the time. So how do you actually land these relationships? First, you got to lead with value. Don't show up to a doctor's office trying to pay referral fees. Most doctors don't really care about 50 bucks a head. They care about getting new patients because that's how they get paid. Because when a primary care physician is listed as a PCP on somebody's insurance, their insurance carrier is going to pay them a set dollar amount for every patient they have on the books, even if they only visit a few times per year. The more patients they have, the more money they make. And that's how you bring value, by letting them know that you want to bring them new patients. So when you talk to them, this is what your pitch should sound like. Something down the lines of, hey, I work with a lot of clients in the area that don't have a doctor assigned yet. I would love to send them here to you so they can get proper care and find a way for us to work together. Coming in with that posture of wanting to bring value puts you in a really good position because you're not asking for anything. You're actually bringing them something that's very valuable to them. Other thing that doctors really care about is making sure that their patients are taken care of. They are big on their reputation. So when you show up, make sure you look clean cut, that you look responsible, that you are responsive, and that you let them know that you are a professional that's going to take care of their clients. Now, I want you to keep this in mind. When you walk in, you're probably not going to talk to the doctor. In many occasions, the doctor's not even the owner. And even if he does own the practice, typically the one you want to speak with to win over is going to be the office manager or the front desk receptionist, because those are the ones that actually control the workflow of the office and control all the referrals. Lastly, let's talk about your output. If you knocked on 10 doors this week and you haven't gotten any traction, it doesn't mean that it's not working. It just means that you haven't knocked on enough doors. 10 doors is not going to be enough data. That's a really small sample size. You've got to treat this like a numbers game. Instead of knocking 10 doors in a week, you've got to knock 10, maybe even 20 doors a day. The more output you do, the faster you can get through your data and figure out your numbers to see how many doors you got to knock in order to land one relationship. The same exact thing is going to apply for your calls, your texts, and your emails. More output equals more data equals you get there faster. All right, so the second way to get clients is through organic content, using social media to attract people to you instead of you chasing them. And real quick, if you are watching this and you don't have a social media account on any platform, I need you to stop this video, go create one, and come right back. Because if you don't have social media in 2025, you don't exist, and this business is not going to work for you. And before we dive in, I'm not claiming to be a content guru. What I'm going to explain here is a high-level overview of strategies that work. These strategies have been used across hundreds of agents in my team. Okay, so organic content is like the modern form of prospecting. It's like cold outreach, but digital. Instead of knocking on doors, you're knocking on news feeds. The difference being that once you start building momentum online, it compounds. Your content keeps working for you even when you're not working. Most agents make the mistake of posting random stuff and saying it doesn't work. But posting random stuff without a plan is like throwing darts in the dark. The goal is not just to post, the goal is to create a funnel that turns attention into leads and leads into clients. So at the top of the funnel, your goal is to grab attention. Pretend you're casting a wide net and you want to drive as many eyeballs as you possibly can to your page. So for example, if you're selling life insurance, instead of talking about insurance itself, you need to talk about things like protection, taking care of your family, leaving a legacy, things that connect at an emotional level. Remember, people don't look for education, they connect with emotion. That's how you stop the scroll and grab their attention. At the middle of the funnel, this is where you want to educate your client. You're going to post videos to build trust, talking about things like the different types of insurance. So whether term versus whole life, cash value life insurance, different types of health insurance plans, things that will allow you to build that trust and educate the client. You want to nurture this relationship, showing them what they need without being too pushy or too salesy. At the bottom of the funnel, now here's where you convert. Here you want to have some strong call to actions, having people come to you so you could finally convert them into a client. Call to actions such as send me a DM to walk you through your options or click the link in my bio to book an appointment with me. A lot of agents never get this far and never get to these stages because the first two stages, the top and the middle of the funnel, they do them incorrectly. Don't make the biggest mistake that everybody makes, which is they want to get to the bottom of the funnel where they're still at the top of the funnel, meaning they have strong call to actions when nobody knows who the hell you are. So here are a few recommendations that can help you. Make sure to stay consistent, so try to post at least 3 to 5 times a week. Test different styles of content so you can see what works, and make sure to engage with people in your audience, so comment back or DM people back when they send you a DM. The algorithm will reward you for doing such thing. So the cool thing is that once you become good at organic, it becomes predictable. You're gonna have a bunch of people reaching out saying, hey, I watch your video, can you help me get coverage? And all of this without you having to spend any money on ads. Now again, the trade-off, time and consistency. It's gonna take you a few months, maybe even years, to be able to become consistent and build momentum. Now let's talk about the third and my personal favorite way of getting clients, through paid advertising. This is where you're going to spend money on ads to get in front of potential clients instead of relying on organic content or referrals. Now, paid advertising can be tricky because if you're new, I do not recommend that you get into paid advertising by you running your own ad or hiring an agency to run your ads for you. The most expensive part about paid advertising is not the money you spend on the platforms running ads, is not the fees that you pay an agency or whoever's going to run the ads for you, is the money that you're going to spend figuring out what strategy is actually going to work. So as a new agent, you're going to have to do what I personally did, which is buying leads. You're going to buy leads because these lead vendors have already spent the money and put in the time to figure out what strategies work and the best ways to get in front of potential clients. Now, in this part of the video, I'm going to cover the 2 most important things that you need to have in mind when you're buying leads. The first one is, how do you vet a lead vendor? How do you make sure that you're doing business with somebody who's not going to steal your money or is not going to sell you some crappy leads that don't convert? And the second part is, what systems are you using in order to work these leads? There is no reason why the same agent can get a lead that another agent gets, yet one agent could convert and the other one doesn't. The only real reason why this happens is because one has a system that works and the other one is probably just winging it. We're going to cover in detail what you need to do to turn these leads into paying clients. So when you're vetting a lead vendor, there are 3 things that you want to look for. You want to look at price, you want to look at quality, and you want to look at volume. Now, the tricky part is that the price can affect both the quality and the volume or quantity, because if you get cheaper leads, you're going to get more volume, but there's a really good chance that the quality is lower and you have a harder time converting. Same thing on the opposite side. If you get a more expensive lead, you might have better quality, but with low volume of leads, it's going to be hard for you to build momentum. What you want to focus on is your CPA, or cost per acquisition, which is essentially how much money you need to spend in order for you to get a client. What is my average CPA should be the first question that you ask a lead vendor when you're having a conversation with them. The lead vendor cannot give you a straight answer, so if they give you the runaround or they tell you that they don't know, it's hard for them to calculate it, you should not do business with that lead vendor. Now, here's a rule of thumb. You want to spend about 30% of your first year's commission on your CPA. So if your first year's commission is $1,000, $300 is an acceptable cost per acquisition. That should remain you profitable, even after factoring chargebacks, cancellation, or lapses. Anything above that is dangerous. If you are in a business model that's strongly on residuals or renewals, then you probably could afford to spend a little bit more, but you got to keep everything in mind because in this business, profit is king. And if you don't run your numbers correctly, you can quickly fail. Again, let's also now talk about working the leads the right way. Like I said, if 2 agents get the same type of leads and one sells and one doesn't, that's not by accident. The first thing you need is you need a CRM. You don't need a spreadsheet. You cannot work on Google Sheets. You cannot work on a notebook. You need a system that's going to allow you to organize your stuff. In that system, you need to have automation. So you need your clients to get hit with text messages as soon as it comes in. You need automated emails and even automated phone calls. The hardest part about working these leads, especially if you're working outbound dialing, is contactability. And having these automations is going to increase the likelihood that you get in touch with your clients. The most successful agents contact their leads within minutes, not within hours. And they're going to call them, text them, email them for months, as long as it takes for you to get in touch with them. You stop working a lead until they either tell you no or they block your number. And when they block your number, you call them from another number. Because remember, your goal is to get in touch with that family to make sure you give them the protection that they requested information on. Now, if you're buying live transfers, you're going to look at the same metrics, right? You're going to look at the quality, at the volume, and at the price. You're still going to keep tabs with your CPA, but here your follow-up game needs to be really, really strong because you might not have the same type of automation on the CRM. So you got to make sure that you stay organized and you're constantly following up with these clients. So here's the reality. Paid advertising works. It's expensive, but it's also the only way that you could speed up the process to getting to $200,000 a year. It's the only way that you're going to have a predictable formula for you to be able to work and provide for your family and do this business full time. The only downside is you got to spend money. And if you spend the money incorrectly or you don't work it the right way, you could potentially lose a lot of it. So to recap, there are 3 ways for you to be able to get clients. Cold outreach, which is basically boots on the ground, knocking doors, building relationships to sell one-to-many. Organic content, which is using social media to attract and nurture leads for free. And paid advertising and leads, which is where you're going to invest money to build a predictable system for you to make money and to cut down that time that it takes for you to build the relationships on the other 2. Every successful agent is using at least one of these methods. And the most successful ones are using a combination of all 3. Once you understand how these work, you can mix them to fit your business model and hit that $200,000 mark. The agents that win in this business are not the luckiest or the most talented, but the ones that master a client acquisition system. Remember, the more people you talk to, the more you sell. If this video helped you, make sure to click the subscribe button. I'm going to be dropping videos every week breaking down the systems and strategies that it takes to grow in this industry. I appreciate you watching. Now let's get out there. Let's go hit that $200,000 mark. Victory!